Ewan McGregor confirms that Lucasfilm is currently developing new ideas for an Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2.
Yes! Yeah!
Over this weekend at LA Comic-Con, many Star Wars actors took the stage. However, Ewan McGregor, the actor behind the young version of Obi-Wan Kenobi, revealed that not only are there talks for a Season 2 of his own Disney Plus series, but he also said that we could be seeing Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker back together again in their iconic Clone Wars armor.
This is where the fun begins.
Star Wars fans have been speculating for years now about the possibility of seeing a second season of this show. And this is not the first time that Ewan has expressed his hope of returning to this character. As just about a month ago, Ewan himself said this: "I really hope we get a chance to do another, between where we ended off in this series and when Alec Guinness comes on screen with Luke Skywalker. I think there's another few stories to tell in there." And when that news broke, fans started running wild, trying to figure out what a second season of Kenobi would even be about. But Ewan isn't the only one who has said in the past that he wants a second season of this show. Hayden Christensen, who of course plays Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader, and the director of every episode of the Kenobi's first season, Deborah Chow, have both been very vocal about wanting to come back to do a second season. As early on in this year, Deborah Chow said this: "You always think you're going to end a series like this one in a magnificent way, but instead you end it in a parking lot with second unit and hardly anyone there. It's always so anticlimactic. But as Ewan and I finished our very last shot on second unit, and I was literally taking off my headphones, he was already pitching me ideas for season 2. There's another 10 years with plenty of stories, and I don't think it's off the board. It is a never say never situation, but we really did conceive this to be a limited series." So although the first season of Obi-Wan was supposed to just be one season and that's it, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, and the love for these two actors and their characters have lit a fire in the fandom that Lucasfilm cannot deny. And over this weekend at LA Comic-Con, Ewan McGregor took the stage and gave these fans the final thing they needed for this Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2. Confirmation that Lucasfilm is currently developing new ideas to continue this show. As Ewan said this, and it might sound familiar to what he said a few months ago, but there is a little bit of a difference. Obviously, between the end of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series and when Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan Kenobi, there's got to be another few stories in there. And we are definitely hoping, well, exploring that. I think that would be the word to say. While also on the stage at Comic-Con, he was asked about seeing Obi-Wan in his iconic Clone Wars armor. And he said this: "I think that could be something that I'd enjoy. That would mean I'd have to be younger. But they can do that. It's the de-aging. It's the dots on your face for 3 months, you know? But I'll do it. I don't care." And then Hayden Christensen and I could really get back together. It's no longer what if we get an Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2. It now has become when will we get an Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2. The most likely place this second season will be announced is at Star Wars Celebration in Japan next April. And honestly, this news of a second season is not that surprising at all. The first season of Kenobi was one of the most viewed Star Wars TV shows ever, and the rematch of the century between Anakin and Vader went over fairly well with the Star Wars fans.
Anakin's gone. I'm what remains.
However, there is a problem with this great news, and that is, what the f*** is this second season gonna be about? The first season took Obi-Wan off of Tatooine, and we were led to believe that he stayed on Tatooine watching over Luke for 19 years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. But he leaves the planet to go save Leia, which makes sense. We also got to see Kenobi fight his former apprentice. But that can't happen again in a second season. They can't just keep fighting over and over again, or A New Hope wouldn't make any sense.
When I left you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master.
The first season also ended with Obi-Wan going to learn from his master, Qui-Gon Jinn, how to become a Force ghost. So is that what the second season's gonna be about? Just Qui-Gon Jinn trying to teach Obi-Wan to become a Force ghost on Tatooine? Where's the conflict? During a live stream a few weeks ago, we came up with an incredible plot for a season 2 of Kenobi. And with this plot I'm about to explain, it gives you the opportunity to see Anakin and Obi-Wan back together in their iconic Clone Wars armor. It also allows you to see Master Yoda and maybe even some other familiar faces. while also not breaking the canon of Star Wars, not just having Obi-Wan and Vader have the rematch of the century ×2, this possible plot for a second season would see Obi-Wan leave Tatooine again. Now before you start saying, Mike, what about Luke? How's he going to protect Luke if he's not on the planet? Well, there's a few options here. Obi-Wan could call in a friend. My fanboy dream for this scenario would be Ahsoka Tano, but I don't think Ahsoka knows that Obi-Wan is still alive at this time. You also have other Jedi options like a Quinlan Vos, who was mentioned in the first season of the show, but the most likely scenario here would be Reva.
What did he say?
I know. Reva's not a fan-favorite character by any means, but she did go on a redemption arc at the end of the first season. She's currently on Tatooine. It's more a matter of would Obi-Wan trust her enough. But for the sake of this story, let's just say Ahsoka Tano. So Obi-Wan leaves the planet, leaving Luke in the care of Ahsoka Tano. He goes to see Yoda on Dagobah, where Yoda and Qui-Gon are going to teach Obi-Wan how to become a Force ghost. In the Clone Wars Season 6, we see Yoda go on this crazy journey to achieve this crazy Force ability. We see him meet the wills of the Force, we see him talk to Darth Bane. It's a pretty crazy journey for this little green man just to learn to become a Force ghost. It's clear that it's not an easy task to accomplish. So to see in live action how Obi-Wan learns to do this would be pretty damn cool. Especially if he goes to Dagobah, trains with Yoda, maybe even goes in the same cave that Luke Skywalker does in Empire Strikes Back, where he fights himself in Darth Vader's mask. And who knows what Obi-Wan will see? We could get Force visions back to the Clone Wars, where he's fighting alongside Anakin Skywalker again. This would allow Hayden Christensen to come back and reprise the role as Anakin, without being Darth Vader and having them fight time and time again. And it could give the possibility of crazier flashbacks to maybe Obi-Wan versus Maul on Mandalore. We could even see Maul kill Satine on Mandalore in live action. And if you want to get really crazy, he could see Force visions of the future, where he fights Darth Maul in the sand dunes of Tatooine. Needless to say, it's going to be very difficult to give us a Kenobi Season 2 that's worth it. There has to be a good enough story to tell there. It's got to be better, or at least on par, with the first season. And that rematch of the century in the first season is pretty damn good. But tell me what you think in the comment section below. What do you think Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 could or should be about? And do you even want a Kenobi Season 2? Tell me in the comments below. And speaking of Obi-Wan, he's featured in this What If I just released yesterday about what if Padme Amidala didn't die of sadness in Revenge of the Sith.